Thank you, everyone, for coming. We begin our service this morning with the recitation of a psalm. This is Jewish tradition. It links our beloved's life with thousands of years of Jewish tradition, with the people of Israel, and with the eternity of God. Our psalm is Psalm 23, a psalm of David, Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar. Binot eshe yarbitzeni al mei menuchot. Yenahaleni nafshi yeshovev. Yancheni v'magalei tzedek leman shemo. Gam ki elech begeitz al mavet lo irara ki ata imadi. Shivtecha umishantecha hema yenachamuni. Taroch lefanai shulchan neged sorai. Dishanta v'Hashem roshi, kosi rivaya. Ach tov v'chesed yirdefuni kol yemei chayai. V'shavti beved Adonai leorech yamim. The Psalm of David, Adonai, God is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me lie down in green pastures, leads me beside the still waters, restores my soul, guides me in straight paths, for that is God's essence. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a banquet for me, prepare a table for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and loving kindness shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of God forever. Thank you again, everyone, for coming today, for joining us as we have gathered as family, as friends, and as a community to honor, to pay tribute to, and to say goodbye to Gloria Kohm. Golda bat Yechiel Michal V'Gitel, the daughter of Max and Gertie Tesler, Zichronam Livracha, of blessed memory. Gloria passed away Monday, the 28th day in the Hebrew month of Tammuz. She was 84. She is survived by her family, her daughter Lynn and son-in-law Michael, her grandchildren Ashley and Daniel, by her extended family, and by many dear friends. Gloria was predeceased by her parents, Max and Gertie, as well by her brother Ivan, and by her children, Nada and Stuart, all of blessed memory. In Jewish tradition, there is this saying, death is better than a life of pain, and eternal rest is better than a constant sickness. Even in my short young career, I've offered this many times at funeral services for people who were sick, were possibly taken before their natural time, like Gloria. Her cancer diagnosis came a little over a year ago. But like with everything in life, She faced it head on with her trademark pragmatism, rationality. You have to accept the things you can't change, she was known to say often throughout her life. Throughout a life in which she faced many challenges, cancer only being one of them. Adversity was a big part of Gloria Kohm's existence. Without question, there were many times when life did indeed knock her down. But she never gave up. She never quit. Gloria was a fighter, a survivor. Throughout her life, she always worked hard and turned to the hard work in times of challenge, always chasing after solutions. Even in the last few years, as difficulty and pain and sickness mounted, she would say she wasn't ready to go. There were too many things she still wanted and needed to see. Daniel's bar mitzvah would be a shining example of that. There's no way Bubby would miss that. And then in the end, in the last couple of weeks, she told her loved one she finally felt ready. She felt satisfied in the life she'd led, the work she'd done, her family, her friendships, the lives she'd touched and impacted forever, for the better. Her countless adventures. In a few moments, Gloria's daughter Lynn will come up here and offer the hesped, the eulogy, in honor of her remarkable mom. And we will all get the privilege of listening and reliving what was truly an interesting life. Gloria Kohm was a Renaissance woman, multifaceted, multi-layered, someone with tremendous depth. But as we will hear, and as so many of you already know, at the heart of everything about her was her way with people. Gloria was a social animal, easy with people, whether they were lifelong friends, to strangers she'd strike up conversations with in the aisles at Safeway. She loved meeting new people. She loved learning about people. She loved their histories, their stories. Today, and in the days and weeks and months that follow, we will have the opportunity to tell her story, her history. If I may, just share about my connection with Gloria. It's a tremendous honor to be here today, to know that Gloria had asked, repeatedly I'm told, because I don't know if she believed Lynn was listening, that I would get to be up here officiating this service today. But my relationship is a little bit funny because I didn't really know Gloria by name. So when Lynn called me and told me, I had a blank feeling. I felt very strange. In my line of work, this is not unusual. Sometimes you meet people and you recognize faces and you never really learn their names. Gloria used to attend the Shabbat morning services at Sheretz Zedek, where I used to work, quite often. She sat at lunch at a table with a group of people who are, most of them, quite outgoing, very social themselves. The kind of people who would offer me opinions and advice. You know who you are. Some of you are here. You know who you are. I'm not telling tales out of school. The kind of people who would come up to you and say, my name is, But Gloria wasn't like that. Though she was easy with people, she was fine with letting them do the talking. She would sit back and listen and relish and delight and smile. Her smile is what I remember. When I finally got to see a picture, it wasn't her name that had any connection for me, it was her face. As I stand here in front of all of you, as I once did in that congregation and in front of Gloria countless weeks on end, I would always hone in on her face, in particular her eyes, her kind eyes, and her warm, unforgettable smile. As I've had the opportunity to sit with her family and learn the details of her story, it only confirms what the hunch I had, what I surmised from her smile, that it was just as she was, genuine, sincere. I don't think she ever once said her name to me, but her smile was worth so much more. But her name is also something worth mentioning. Her Hebrew name is Golda, the meaning a golden woman. Pure, sincere, warm and loving. Also someone who made others feel precious. She had a golden way about her, a golden touch. Could there be a more fitting name for Gloria Kohm? It is our prayer, it is our hope that after suffering, Gloria Golda is now at peace. May she rest in peace. And may we all recognize how much better we are for having seen her smile and felt her touch. Lynn.
Michael.
Go for it. You need to say the first sentence. Just be strong. This is for your mom. Okay.
My mom, Gloria, had a beautiful soul. She was loving, courageous, strong, wise, determined, hardworking with an adventurous spirit. She always tried her best, never giving up despite whatever challenges she faced. Mom passed away surrounded by family and friends at the hospital. She was at peace. My mom grew up in Winnipeg on Matheson Street. She had an idyllic life, much loved by her parents, Max and Gertie Tesler, along with her younger brother, Ivan. She attended Luxton School and St. John's High School. She attended the nearby Yiddish school at night and happily participated in the YMHA with her friends. Mom was ensconced in a home filled with Yiddishkeit, family, and friends. When she was young, Max and Gertie left no stone unturned to locate any survivors. Of Max's family, the Teslers. And bring them to Winnipeg. She loved her extended family. Her mother's parents, Isaac and Annie Altman, lived nearby and ran a dry goods store. Mom also brought much joy to them as she was the apple of their eye. She was a lovely and beautiful child with flaxen hair and blue eyes who modeled for Eatons. Mom brought much nachas, much joy to her family. Growing up, Mom loved to go to their cottage on Pine at Winnipeg Beach every summer. She would bring a box full of books from the library and read them all before getting her next box of books to devour. My mom loved going with her father, Max, to his store, Academy Hardware, every Saturday for their special time together. She watched him act with integrity in business and learned how to be a great salesperson. Mom was an accomplished pianist. She trained classically. She also had the voice of an angel. She loved to play and sing Yiddish pieces. She would bring emotions to the surface of those listening to her play and sing, including me. She would accompany me on the piano during the Manitoba Music Festival every year. Mom attended the University of Winnipeg. She had skipped a grade and started at age 16. She married my dad at 18 and had 3 children. She often told me that the greatest joy of her life was having children and grandchildren, Daniel and Ashley. She loved us deeply. Sadly, my sister Nada passed away in 2018. And my brother Stuart died less than 2 years ago. This was very hard on my mom. Growing up, Mom was the best. She cherished and supported us. Nothing was too much for her kids. She was always organizing and finding ways to enrich our lives. She planned the greatest birthday parties, including renting horses to come to our home and give rides to the kids. Our home was always open to neighbors and friends. Friends enjoyed coming to our home as it was warm, welcoming, and full of treats. She drove us to every lesson, every class under the sun. Through the years, friends have told me how much my mom impacted on them positively. Mom attended night courses at the University of Winnipeg as we were growing up for years to complete her Bachelor of Arts. Education was very important to her, and she instilled this value on us. Her mother, Gertie, had attended university when it was not common for young women to do so. This was important. When I would study at the university at night, before exams, Mom would pack dinner and drive it out to the university to give to me so that I could study without interruption. Mom often told me, go to university, get a profession, don't worry about cooking or getting married, make sure you can always support yourself and you can do anything you desire. Once we were young adults, Mom went to the School of Social Work at the University of Manitoba and graduated with honors. She worked for a bit with Child and Family Services in Winnipeg, but had an amazing adventure by moving at age 47 to the Northwest Territories to accept a job as the area superintendent of social services. She lived in Coppermine, which is above the Arctic Circle, and did groundbreaking work. She traveled by dog sled to remote areas, flew in small planes, went by boat and skidoo as needed. She had a range of experiences, including running the court, which at times required her to call me for advice. She went Arctic fishing. She reveled. Once she even organized a charter flight for her and a few colleagues to fly to Greenland for the weekend. As her mother's health was failing, my mom returned to Winnipeg. After that, Mom worked in sales, her forte. First some real estate, and then landed at Midland Appliance. She was a great salesperson who acted with integrity in all of her dealings, resulting in many, many satisfied customers through the years. Mom related to people in a very special way. She enjoyed people. She loved their stories, their history. She would talk to people wherever she went. She would put a smile on their faces. She would be interested in them. She could be in the fruit aisle at Safeway, strike up a conversation with a stranger, and within 10 minutes, learn their stories and at times have coffee with them. People were drawn to Mom. That never changed. As Mom faced health challenges and was assisted with home care the last 2 years, she treated her aides like friends with kindness and gratitude, insisting that they should sit down and have a rest at her house as she realized how hard they worked. Some of her aides have called me while my mom has been in hospital to inquire and wish her the best. Mom was kind. She would tell us to treat people well, and if you don't have anything to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Treat people how you want to be treated and do not judge others. Mom also had other sayings that guided how we lived, as did her mother, such as, "It's better than a kick in the pants," meaning be grateful. "There is a lid for every pot," meaning there's a partner for everyone, so don't give up hope. And you have to accept the things you cannot change. Mom was always up for a good adventure. She would spontaneously try new things without hesitation, and she was a lot of fun. She had a great sense of humor. We could laugh at the silliest things. Mom believed in giving back and was on the board of National Council of Jewish Women and remained a life member. Mom was very bright. She was very well-read and curious. She was dubbed the Queen of Crosswords and Queen of Trivia. She was amazing. As her vision was failing, I would not even have the chance to finish reading the clue, and she blurted out the answer. Same with Jeopardy and other game shows. It was really awesome to watch. She would take her ritual bow and smile for each game played and won. Mom was interested in politics, history, geography, science, anthropology, everything really. She loved to travel and would have wonderful stories and adventures she would regale us with for years. Despite facing challenges, Mom never gave up. She was strong. She was courageous. She would say, "I'm doing my best. I'm trying my best." She didn't falter. She was strong and she was determined. She dealt with each blow with courage, optimism, and dignity, setting an example to all who knew her. Mom was grateful to God for her blessed life. She was grateful for her family, her children, her grandchildren, her son-in-law, Michael, and her dear friends, especially her beloved friend, Elizabeth. I, too, am grateful to God that she was my mom. She led by example and wanted the absolute best for her family, her children, her grandchildren, and her friends. She loved deeply and with everything she had. Her legacy will live on. I will miss you forever, Mommy. You are now with God. Gabe Shalom.
Very good. Did very well. Let's go.
Okay.
Very good.
My dear friend Gloria, she will be missed by her universe and all the people in it. I am up here to respect her life and her thoughts, and to let it be known that a good and caring person has moved on to her destiny. She was always willing to have an adventure in life and always tried hard to make life work for herself and her family. It's not goodbye, Gloria. You are forever in my heart. And with respect, I hope you are happy there with the angels.
Our thanks to Elizabeth Posen, Gloria's dear friend, and also to her daughter Lynn for a truly beautiful and moving eulogy. I invite everyone to rise for the El Malei Rachamim, the traditional Jewish memorial prayer, which will be chanted for us by Rabbi Yosef Ben Harosh.
El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hamtzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei HaShchina, Bemalot, Kedoshim Uteorim, Kezohar HaRakia Mazhirim, את נשמת גולדה בת יחיאל מיכל וגיטל שלך לעולמה בגן עדן תמנוחתה ענה בעל הרחמים הסתירה בסתר כנפיו לעולמים לצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence amongst the holy and the pure to the soul of Golda, Bat Yechiel, Michal, Vegitel, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound in the bond of life, and may she rest in peace, and may us all say Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. We won't have you sit down yet because we're going to get ready to make our way out of the Chesed Shalemis and over to the Shered Zedek Cemetery for interment. You're invited, of course, to join us. We'll be traveling in the style of a funeral procession, so you can put your four-way flashers on. The rules sometimes change, but I think the rules right now are we still stop for red lights. We try to stay together, but just in case we get separated, the Shered Zedek Cemetery, you go up Main Street, go north on Main Street, and then it's a left turn on Armstrong. And the cemetery is right there across from Kildonan Park. So Main Street to Armstrong, 230 Armstrong is the address. After our service concludes at the cemetery, there will be a meal of consolation at Adas Yeshurun Herzliya, 620 Brock Street, right address. Everyone, of course, is invited to go. It's a meal in honor of Gloria, but it's also as our thoughts as a community turn to comforting her family, her loved ones who are now in grief, who are now in the period of mourning. And so with that in mind, we encourage you to continue to reach out to Lynn, Michael, Daniel, Ashley, family, with your thoughts, with your stories, whether they're phone calls, text messages, emails, just to continue to join our hearts together with theirs and help them through what is a very difficult time. Thank you again for being here. I'd like to call the pallbearers to come forward now.